cool that we're able to do this. We have all this technology now. Like, who knew Zoom was going to become this, like, integral part of our lives?
Oh my God. I mean, I'm sure they had no idea because I used to be in the corporate world and launched technology products. And I can just imagine, like, when they were launching this product, did they think, oh, when there's a global pandemic, our business will really take, like, I can't imagine that that was even in the scenarios. I mean, it might have been, but
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. But it's like, what did we do before internet and cell phones? And, like, what?
I know. What did we do? I mean, I'm 50, so I remember the 80s.
I remember not having cell phones. Like, I remember being young and not having cell phones. Yeah, if this was in the age where there was no internet and no phones, it would be a total shutdown.
Yeah, I think it would be. As great as the online classes are, the online yoga classes are, and I know people appreciate it, and I appreciate people showing up for it. You don't know how your pace is. You don't know if you're going too fast, going too slow.
Yeah.
We get a lot of feedback as teachers from being in the room with our students. So
Yeah.
It's challenging.
It has been challenging. It's like, it's just such a bonkers time. You know, is this the weirdest moment that you've lived through in, like, your lifetime in history?
Honestly, I mean, aside from 9/11,
right?
Yes. Yeah.
And it's so hard. I feel like every day there's, like, just this roller coaster of emotions, and I feel like it's been so important to laugh recently. What's something that has made you laugh recently, this week?
Oh my gosh. That whole thing about how the internet can be the worst of people and the funniest of people. And
Yeah.
funny people are coming out and the memes that are coming out. But it was a cat at a sewing machine.
Oh, it did.
And it said something like, okay, I'm going to make you a mask and then I want you out of my house, Karen, today.
A, like, fake opinion article in a newspaper that was like, dog, why the shutdown, like, why quarantine should continue. Cats, why we should reopen.
Why people need to get out of the house.
Why people need to leave. What else have you been watching? Like, TV shows, anything good?
Yeah, I've been watching, I just finished watching Ozark, but the writing and the acting's so good. I love Ozark. There's a Japanese series on Netflix called Giri Haji.
Okay.
It's like a cop show. It takes place in London and Tokyo, and it's also a really sweet story and about two brothers, and really recommend. Really good.
Anything else that you've been listening to? Podcasts? Anything? I'm like itching for entertainment.
Yeah, well, I have been listening to my old favorites. One is called Cortex, and I guess it would reveal my inner tech geek. That maybe people don't know, but it's two guys in London that are self-employed. One is Mike Hurley, and then the other one is a YouTuber, CGP Grey. So I learn a lot from them as far as, like, time management and prioritizing and tools, and they're also Apple peoples, and so they talk a lot about integrating tools and apps and that kind of stuff. So I just really like them. Cortex, and the other one is totally different. It's called LA Meekly. And these guys, I love these guys. These guys are two old friends. They are library historians, and they are super interested in LA history, and they've both been brought up in LA. And they do it in a very silly, sometimes irreverent. I mean, they give you the real facts, but they have commentary on it. They're just very smart, and they're super quick-witted. Like, sometimes like a million things go by and you're like, wait, back up. I don't know what you just said, but it was really funny.
So one thing I did want to ask you, since you are a wealth of knowledge for yoga, and this is such an crazy, like we said, this is the craziest time we've ever lived through. And there's all these emotions. I personally have been feeling these just like waves of anxiety, right? Yeah. So from your own practice, or just from like your depth of knowledge, what's a practice that you find really helpful in those moments of like, just like, oh my God, the world is ending.
I had a few of those about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't know how long ago it was. That's a good question. I think for me, meditation is the answer for me. When I have those moments of my mind is spinning on the same thought and I feel like I can't find any peace or rest in my mind, I will sit down and I have a mala.
Oh yeah.
And I have a particular mantra that I learned from my teacher in India that's based on Om Namah Shivaya, and so you just basically say it over and over again, and I just say it over. I'm sure it's like, I'm not Catholic, but I'm sure it's like saying,
like the rosary.
Any of those practices gets your mind off that hamster wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get off the hamster wheel, I think things settle down a little bit. I haven't been doing as much yoga at home as I thought I was going to do because, again, having a 7-year-old attached at your hip, no school. Oh my God, when they told me she was out for 2 weeks at the very beginning of this, I was like, what? And then it started to dawn on all of us that, like, we're not going back for a month. And then we're like, what? A month? And then they're not going back at all. So we do try to get exercise every day because I know for her as well, anxiety, because her routine got thrown off. So that's something I try to instill with her and we do meditate together.
That's great.
Not as often as we should, but we do.
Yeah.
And so movement and meditation, which are two opposite things, kind of,
I feel very similarly. Like those are the things that I've been going to, but like, I'm like, I'm gonna have so much time. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna like work on this pose, and I'm gonna like get really into it. No, I haven't been doing any of it. I'll practice in the morning. And I'll do like a short practice, and that's it.
How about pranayama? Because you did that pranayama for Instagram. Because I don't tend to go to pranayama. I like pranayama, but it's never been something that's been my go-to.
It is my go-to, and it's generally when I meditate, that's my meditation tool. Like rather than beads or anything like that, pranayama is my meditation tool. And since this started, so back in Philly, I did a 2-hour workshop around breath work led by someone who is a Wim Hof instructor. And so he's been much more active online, and I saw that he was doing one-on-one classes. So I reached out to him and I was like, hey, I would love to do this. So now every Monday morning I have a Zoom, or we do Google Hangouts, but I have a class with him for 45 minutes of guided breath work. And that has been key. Judith Hanson Lasseter talks about it a lot. She's like the mother of restorative yoga. That emotion is linked directly to breath, and breath is linked directly to emotion. So if you're feeling a certain way, you're breathing a certain way. And if you can reverse it, if you're breathing a certain way, you're feeling a certain way. And so that's been something that I'm trying to remind myself of, like, okay, if I'm feeling anxious, I'm breathing anxious, but I can control how I'm breathing.
Right. But I think pranayama is an underrated tool. People don't, including me, they don't access it enough, I think.
You can dismiss it easily because it's breathing, and you're like, I do that all the time. Like, what do you mean? And when I did the 2-hour workshop, I remember I was so excited, and I was telling Dave about it. He's like, wait, so what are you going to do for 2 hours?
Well, I mean, it's a very deep subject.
It is. Yeah.
Subject. Yeah.
So let's pretend for a second, because I feel like we got kind of heavy. Quarantine lifts tomorrow. Yay! Where do you go?
Right. If I could travel anywhere.
Yeah, and also everything else is at your fingertips. There's no financial limitations. There's no travel restrictions. You can go anywhere.
The place that keeps coming up for me in the last couple of days is Turks and Caicos.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I do, I tend to be a city girl. Like I like to travel to the cities. Paris was a close second. It was like
Yeah.
Paris and Turks and Caicos, and those are very different trips. In the Caribbean, it's very low key, the stress level
Hmm.
is low, the water's warm and beautiful, the people are friendly, you're kind of slopping around in your bathing suit and flip flops. And
That
yeah.
sounds so nice right now.
What about you? Where would you go?
Oh, it's hard. I mean, I feel like honestly, I'd be like the beach, like just like right here.
Yeah, right.
Like if quarantine lifted tomorrow morning, I'd be like, we're hopping on our bikes, we're biking down to the beach, and
Yeah.
like I'm just gonna run into the ocean.
Yeah. I might be right there with you. Yeah.
Maybe I would be like, let's hop in the car and go to Santa Barbara.
Yeah. Just because you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was really great talking to you, and it was so great to see you.
I know.
Like,
Like, use voices to talk at least.
yeah.
Yeah.